Well, not too many things genuinely unite the Democratic Party. One that does, though, is abortion. The party loves it, wants more of it, up until birth, maybe a little bit after, if possible.
Generations from now, our children and grandchildren will wonder, what did we do? What did we do when they were trying to take away a woman's right to control her own body?
Whether we are going to be arresting women for making decisions about their bodies.
Is that should be a decision that the woman makes about her own body. I trust her.
What's at stake is whether or not we will continue to recognize or not a woman's right to choose.
Women's access to safe, legal abortions on the line. The
decision over abortion belongs to a woman and a physician, not the federal government, not the state government, and not the local government.
So what's the motive behind all of this? The autonomy of women? That's a little abstract. It's not quite it. It's not really what's going on. Well, God bless former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams for telling the unadorned truth about it. This is about business. It's about making sure that women can be obedient workers rather than harried mothers. Hurting business by restricting abortion, she says, is evil. Said it right out loud. Watch.
We have to be a state that is not only friendly to business, we've got to be friendly to the women who work in these businesses. You should not have to worry about your ability to control your bodily autonomy because the governor has pushed such an abominable and evil bill that is so restrictive. It's not only bad for morality and our humanity, it's bad for business.
There's something creepy about this. And there are a lot of things about this topic that nobody ever says out loud, but here's one of them because it's true, and you can look it up on the CDC website. African-American women are 5 times as likely as white women to get abortions in this country. In New York City, more black children are aborted than born. Now, the Democratic Party will tell you forever that it loves African-Americans, but why is it pushing abortion on them? And by the way, why is it continuing to import low-wage labor to dilute the political power of people whose families have been in this country for 400 years? No one ever asks those questions. Somebody should. David Webb hosts Reality Check with David Webb on Fox Nation, and he joins us tonight. David, thanks a lot for coming on.
Great to see you, Tucker.
That's a question that always pops up in my mind, and I guess you're not allowed to say it, but then I thought, I'm almost 50. Why do I care? I really, it's a sincere question. If somebody says, you know, I really care about you, I really love you, you really should consider abortion. Does the person really love me, actually? I don't think so.
Tucker, this goes to a level of dangerous action by the Democrat Party that has pushed something that has changed the culture in the black community, where young black women are not being taught responsibility for their bodies, but they're actually being taught that if you are irresponsible, and sometimes accidents do happen. Let's be fair, young people do this and it happens. But sure, if you are irresponsible, then it's easy to get rid of it, and abortion is your answer because they never want to solve the actual problem, Tucker. Think about it. You're a free market guy. We've talked about this over the years. If you reduce the rate of pregnancies, what do? You reduce the rate of abortions. If you educate young black women, if you educate them on what getting pregnant does to your body, and by the way, educate young black men, they play a role in this, and what it does to your education, to your earnings capability, to getting ahead in life. And by the way, it keeps you in poverty. That rate of abortions in young black women correlates to single-parent birth, and by the way, not just for young black women, but single-parent birth and poverty in this country. In medical terms, that's an epidemic.
Well, yeah, but I would even say on a gut level, I'm struck by it. I mean, if you love somebody, I mean, you love your own children, and so you want your kids to have as many kids as they want to have because you love them and you want to see them reproduce, okay? So again, if I'm saying to you, probably shouldn't reproduce, and let me make it really easy for you not to, what am I really saying to you? That's not a message of love, actually. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I'm saying. That's not a message of love. It's something very different from that, actually.
No, it's something very onerous and something very dangerous because you are destroying the culture and the future of young women and young men, for that matter. Again, let's not forget that half of the equation because you're tearing the family unit apart. You're tearing the community apart, and you're not teaching them to grow up to be responsible people. It's just something that is so dangerous that we have to look at it for what it is: cultural destruction by a bunch of liars in power.
Yeah, well, that's clearly true. David Webb, thanks very much. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Tom.
Well, last year, and we're glad this happened, plastic straws were purged from restaurants. Man, those were dangerous. But the people who did it are still unhappy, so they have a new target, something else to